71% of the Earth is covered by water, from which almost 97% is ocean water, and the remaining 3% of the water is in other forms, that is, glaciers and ice. But what if the last 3% of the ice melts as well? Do you believe it won't devastate our planet? Perhaps a terrible event from which no one can save us. After the ice melts, the first thing that would happen is that you would end up underwater, possibly drowning and having trouble breathing. It doesn't sound nice. Research shows that our planet has an ice cap that covers 5.8 million square meters. If there ever came a time when all of the Earth's glaciers melted, it would be such a big disaster that all people would die out. If all the ice melted overnight, the sea level would rise about 230 feet around the world. Most of the 7 continents will be underwater because of floods. All the countries and 80% of the world's people would be washed away. Extreme heat waves would occur, making the planet unlivable. Not that anyone would be around by then. More carbon dioxide gas will be in the air, making it impossible to breathe. In many parts of the world, the winter of 2019 through 2020 broke the world record for the number of warm days in the last 130 years of climate observation. And this is probably only the beginning. The temperatures around the world will steadily go up, even in a place where the temperatures rarely go above zero. Snow could melt. Because of this, glaciers that have survived for millions of years may soon begin to melt. If the temperature remains at this level, the first thing to melt are the icebergs floating in the ocean, but they do not pose a significant threat. When glaciers break away from land because of global warming, the ice sheets at the South Pole and North Pole often crack, and big chunks of ice fall into the ocean. Then is a whole different story. In Antarctica, there is 90% of the world's ice cover and 80% of the freshwater resources. The Thwaites Glacier, also called the Doomsday Glacier, is one of the biggest pieces of ice on the cold continent. It is a massive ice sheet on Earth. It is the world's widest glacier and roughly the size of the state of Florida in the United States. The glacier is gradually melting away. It covers 120,000 square kilometers. That is about 46,330 square miles, or 153 times the size of New York City. If the glacier melts completely, the world's oceans could rise as much as 65 centimeters or 25 inches. The ice sheet covering Antarctica is over 2 kilometers, over 7,000 feet thick, making it one of the world's most impressive natural phenomena. This ice shelf spans 14 million square meters. That's 5.4 million square miles, and it takes up about 7 million cubic miles, or 30 million cubic kilometers. If global warming doesn't slow down, Antarctica's ice sheet could melt away completely in 200 to 800 years. At the other end of the planet, the ice is much thinner at the North Pole. If Greenland melts, it could add another 7 meters or 23 feet to the level of the world's oceans. The Atlantic coast as we know it will vanish. There will no longer be a state of Florida. The Gulf of California's waters will be extended all the way to San Diego, and the hills of San Francisco will become separate islands in South America. The water from the Amazon and Paraguay rivers will flow into the Atlantic Ocean, and all earthquakes will occur underwater. Returning to our ice sheet, when the glaciers melt away, Africa will also be affected. As the heat goes up, large parts of Africa will become deserts where no one can live. If you haven't been to Europe's beautiful cities yet, you should go before the snow melts. If not, it will already be too late. The Adriatic Sea, which is the most isolated part of the Mediterranean Sea, will swallow up Venice. The Netherlands will vanish, and Denmark will be reduced by half, while the Mediterranean, Black, and Caspian Seas will expand their waters. Following them, China will lose most of its coastal territories, which are now home to approximately 600 million people. With 160 million people, Bangladesh is one of the most populous countries in the world. The water will cover most of India. Cambodia's tallest mountain will turn into an island. The rising sea level will also wash away all of Australia's coastal lands, where approximately 80% of the mainland's population lives, creating a cold home in the middle of desert Australia and an inland sea. And yet, we shouldn't think that the North and South poles will melt at the same time. Even though both poles are covered with ice, they are very different and also melt at different rates. As more and more sea ice melts, the North Pole will lose its ice first, while the South Pole will lose its ice last. Rising sea levels may seem like a minor issue if another issue arises. Under the Arctic sheet, there is a huge amount of methane. Different estimates put the total amount between 30 and 90,000 gigatons. Methane has a greenhouse effect that is 10 times stronger than carbon dioxide. If it were suddenly released into the air, it could make global warming happen much faster. How much the temperature would rise is hard to predict, but one thing is very clear: many living things would not be able to stay alive. Luckily, the ice can't all melt at once, but it is melting. Even if we can stop global warming, the glacier will melt within 150 years. Because of climate change, this will cause many beautiful islands, like the Maldives, to be submerged in the ocean forever. Do you believe that the melting of the North Pole's polar caps will result in a global disaster, or the emergence of a giant forest to be immersed in water? If you liked the video, tell us in the comments and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you can be notified when new interesting videos come out.